What is up, guys? It's your boy, Wicket Cactus, and today we're going to be showcasing the Wicket Implement Exotic Scout Rifle just added into Destiny 2 Season of the Deep via a secret exotic quest. Now, we're going to be showcasing what exactly this weapon can do and also providing a build template to really make this weapon shine. Now, first things first, if you want this exotic for yourself, I did make a complete guide video linked up above everything you need to know to acquire one, so definitely check that out. So let's talk about this thing's exotic perks. Intrinsically, it has creeping attrition. Rapidly landing precision hits causes targets to become slowed. I think this wording is a little bit deceptive because it doesn't actually sound that amazing, okay? Rapid hits, you slow a guy, what's the big deal? Honestly, if it was worded as rapidly landing precision hits causes targets to freeze, that sounds a lot better. But that description would also be accurate because remember, when a target becomes slowed, if it continues to receive more slow stacks, it will eventually freeze. So how this actually works in-game is the following. As you can see against this servitor, after 4 shots, the slow effect will actually occur and you'll see that over the target. But with only like 2 or 3 more shots at around the 6 shot mark, you can see the target is frozen. So 4 shots to slow, 6 shots, just 2 more to completely freeze the enemy. And freezing enemy combatants is incredibly effective. You completely negate all of their abilities, all of their attacks. They are useless for the time they're actually frozen. And when they become unfrozen, remember, they're going to actually shatter often, providing an additional chunk of damage. Freeze is right up there with Suspend for extremely powerful PvE effects that scale really well up to the end game. Right? When it takes a bajillion shots to kill an enemy champion in a Grandmaster, how awesome is it to freeze them or suspend them and just negate all of their power? However, this thing has another unique perk, and that's going to be called Tithing Harvest. Precision final blows, while creeping attrition is active, create a stasis shard that returns to you. Collecting stasis shards refills the magazine. Now, that is actually a pretty good stasis enabler. A stasis shard can be used to synergize with a lot of aspects of your build, and we're going to be going over several, but additionally, it doesn't have to be the ones you make with this weapon that you have to collect to reload the magazine. So if you're just using a stasis build and producing tons of stasis shards with your abilities, for example, any of those you collect will also refill the magazine. And so if you're actually on a stasis build, you can basically get infinite ammo with this thing. Like, you are just never reloading because of how often you're making stasis shards if you spec into it. And so overall, you have a very interesting weapon. In my opinion, this is actually not good at all for lower level content. It's just a slow shooting scout rifle that really doesn't do as much as many other of the exotic primaries in the game. However, weirdly, it becomes a lot better when you get into endgame content. So as you can see right here, I'm using it in a solo lost sector, and you can just completely stun lock champions. I mean, look at this. I'm actually shooting a barrier champion. I've got a scout rifle with overload rounds, so I don't even have the right weapon to deal with this champion. It doesn't matter. I am freezing this champion so often that they're not even able to produce that barrier and heal themselves, and I would have to whip out my anti-barrier auto rifle, etc. So that is actually pretty powerful. And as you can see against the type of champion I actually should be engaging, overload champions, it's equally insane. Yes, it doesn't do an insane amount of damage, but I am completely safe here. I am just completely locking down this champion. It will never, ever get an opportunity to attack me back because of how often I'm applying that freeze effect. So that is absolutely a powerful feature. And let's talk about a build that really accentuates the capability of the Wicket implement. So obviously, I'm playing a Stasis subclass. Specifically, I'm actually going to be on Warlock. And the reason is because I actually get access to the Glacial Harvest aspect. So this says freezing targets creates stasis shards around the frozen target. Higher tier combatants create more shards. So Glacial Harvest, in my opinion, is the easiest way to produce stasis shards. And if you're producing a ton of stasis shards, obviously that means essentially infinite magazine sizes with this weapon. Now, after that, I do have Ice Flare Bolts for just more freezing, but the Stasis Turret would be great too. And importantly, the fragment you want is Whisper of Conduction. So the shards you make with the weapon will come to you, but the other ones won't. So Whisper of Conduction will make all of those stasis shards you're creating by freezing enemies all draw into you. And again, it just lets you not have to worry about going out and collecting the shards. They will come to you, which is amazing. After that, we've got, Whisper of Torment, Whisper of Chains, just great fragments. But then we do actually have Whisper of Rhyme. Collecting stasis shards grants a small amount of overshield, which falls off after 10 seconds. Collecting additional shards adds to the overshield and refreshes the timer. So this is another fantastic fragment that specifically synergizes with the Wicket implement. And we can make that synergy go even further because our featured exotic is actually going to be the Mantle of Battle Harmony. Now, to be honest, if you really want to be optimal, you're probably using the exotic arms that give you 2 Cold Snap grenades. But if you want to try out your brand new exotic weapon, the Mantle is fantastic for that, because takedowns with weapons that have a damage type matching your subclass, obviously Stasis, are going to give you more super energy. And when you have a full super, it's going to boost the damage of those stasis weapons. Now, importantly, it won't actually stack with the surge mods that go on your leg armor and improve elemental damage, but we can take advantage of the fact that we don't need to use them, because on the legs we're using obviously a harmonic scavenger, but then we have 2 elemental charges. This is going to make it so that collecting stasis shards will give you a chance to become armor charged. So obviously, our whole build, our weapon, is creating stasis shards, and now we're going to be getting armor charges constantly. And the payoff for that is on the arms, 2 grenade kickstarts. So we can just spam our grenades non-stop, and oh wait, they freeze enemies because they're cold snap grenades, and create more stasis shards that cause us to get armor charged. So it is a vicious cycle, but vicious in a good way. Moving on from there, we do have like a Harmonic Siphon, Font of Wisdom, and Dynamo on our helmet. These aren't as required. But then on the Bond, we have 2 powerful attractions because we don't need the Time Dilation mod. And then lastly, we have a Reaper. And remember, guys, if you are using a Stasis build, we have some pretty cracked Stasis heavies. In fact, the brand new one, the Cold Comfort Rocket Launcher, just came out this season and is arguably one of, if not the best new rocket launchers in the entire game for PvE, having an unbelievably good intrinsic perk, but also Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch. So this thing also getting the benefits of Mantle of Battle Harmony is pretty sick. And so overall, with this build, you're capable of just completely locking down more powerful enemies like champions with your scout rifle thanks to the continuous freezes, all the while you're making stasis shards, which are reloading your magazine. They're giving you overshield, they're giving you melee energy, they're getting you armor charged. That is actually pretty good. And so honestly, when scout rifles are a featured anti-champion weapon, I think the Wicket implement is absolutely something you may want to whip out for runs of solo lost sectors, again potentially grandmasters, etc., because again, its ability to lock guys down is amazing. And so guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.